Hey, a quick question for you. How do you keep your business organized? If you're like most people, you probably have like 200 tabs open on your browser, right? You've got like 50 files that you're working on. And let me know, is this you? Have you ever spent like minutes, hours searching for something that you created, then you can't find it, you end up redoing it? So a question that I get a lot is, how do I organize my business? Well, in this video today, I'm going to share with you 3 easy ways that you can organize what I call your back office. Okay, so that you don't have to spend hours trying to figure out where things are, trying to organize things. I think you're going to love it. All right, so let's jump in. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is I want you to think like a big corporation. Now, what do I mean by that? We've all been in big corporations, right? And what how are they built? By departments. Okay, you might have worked there, and there's the HR department, the marketing department, the sales department. There might be a legal department, right? So I want you to think like that as you're building out your back office organization. So here's the key. I don't want you to have like 100 different departments, but I want you to come up with 5 or 8 major departments. And then underneath that, you're going to create some sub departments or subfolders. And I forgot to mention, stick with me to the end, and I'm going to share this awesome little tracker that's yours, free, no opt-in or anything. Just hang in there till the end, and I'll explain how you can get the goods on that. Okay. So the first thing is come up with these like major departments. So let me share my camera here, my desktop, and let me give you just a sneak peek. Whoops. Okay, sneak peek here, just in my Google Drive. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is I absolutely love the colors. You can create any kind of color folder, and I like using the emojis. Now, if you were really organized, you could have colors that represent certain things. I just like the variety of colors, okay? Now, I do have a few more folders than 8, but I've been using this system for a long time. If you ask me where something is, I can quickly come back to it, and I know exactly how to find it, okay? So let me come back here for you to you for a second. So that is the first thing. I want you to think about departments. How are you going to organize your business? Come up with these departments, and then what sub departments. And then the next key is you need to make the decisions and then document it so that it will be organized, and so that going forward, you don't have to, like keep making these decisions over and over again. So what do I mean by that? So let me share with you this little tracker. Whoops. Yep. Here it is. I'm going to shrink this down just a little bit so you can kind of see the big picture, and then I'll blow it up. What I want you to do is come up with those major categories or those major departments, and then think about what subcategory does this belong to, and then start thinking about what folders or subfolders do you want in there. So let me just make this a little bigger here so you can see it. So for instance, the CEO department, that would be stuff that you don't want anybody else to ever have access to. And you might have different like categories like financial, legal, things connected with staff, contracts, things like that. Okay. So under the financial subfolder, you might have additional subfolders, one for taxes, one for credit card statements, however your mind organizes it, okay? Whatever makes sense to you. But again, the key is don't create hundreds of folders. Try to put like things together, and where it makes sense to have a subfolder, go ahead and do that. So let me talk about another category here. So admin. So if you have anything that is like shared with other people, you might have team members, or you might be using some VAs or contractors. So you could have subfolders for your VAs and a separate folder for each one of these people that do work for you. You could have a folder that has all of the SOPs, standard operating procedures. Okay. And then in that subfolder, depending on how advanced your business is, you might have additional subfolders for each one of those. This would be a great place to have your brand elements, things that either you or your team needs to share with other people or use in the work. So it might be your logo, might be the brand board, maybe your bio statements, the whole 9 yards. Okay, you get what I'm putting down here. All right. So marketing, that is a big piece of your business. You, depending on where and how you market, you might want categories based on each platform that you're marketing on, or you might just lump them all under one. So social media, do you want a subfolder just for Facebook, a subfolder just for Instagram, etc., or all under one? You make the decision. Same with blogging. If you do blog, you might have a subfolder for blog posts that have been published, things that are under research, etc. Okay. Lead magnets. Let me just talk about that for a minute. I like to create a separate subfolder under lead magnets for each one of my lead magnets. So I have a lead magnet, OMG lead magnet, all of the assets, my planning notes, all of that stuff live in that folder. The next lead magnet that I create, I'm going to have a separate folder for that. All right. Is that making sense? Same thing with your anything connected with sales basically is anything that's bringing in money. So you might have under products, these are like the big things that you sell. Okay. Are you a coaching? You have a course, whatever it is. Or you might do things like events. Okay. Like a paid event or workshop, things like that. Do you sell on Etsy or Amazon? Memberships. Okay. Do you have memberships? So do you see what I'm saying? Create these subcategories and then the folders connected with it. And then the last one here in mind in this example, clients. If you work with clients, you should definitely have a clients folder. And then underneath that, have a folder for each one of your clients that you're working with. And then have another folder for previous clients. And then once that client is offboarded, it moves over there. You might have a folder for onboarding, assets, and resources, all of that kind of stuff. All right. Is that making sense? So again, let me just hide this for a minute. The key is don't make it too complicated. You need to jump in and start using it a little bit. And if you find that either you're creating way too many subfolders or the opposite, you're dumping everything into one or two folders and then you're still searching forever, then you just need to do a little refinement, a little testing. And I have a little tip for you. Try to mimic what you have on the Google Drive to your desktop computer. So if you're using the clients folder up there, that structure, mimic it on your local computer. So then the beautiful thing is you don't have to think because you've already made those decisions. So the third thing is documenting your decisions. So let me come back here and I'm going to come back to this spreadsheet. So part of the battle is just making the decisions. Okay. So decide what your major categories are, the subcategories. And I forgot to mention there's a link here. So you could put a quick link to that major subfolder. And then you could just use this, have it on your easy to get to on your computer. Every time when you're like setting these things up, then come in here and actually update it. All right. So there's down at the bottom, there is, I'm going to just add a little color here. There's something called emoji list, and I'll make this bigger in just a minute. I love using emojis, and think about coming up with a system that when you create something, so for instance, here is the to-dos. If you create checkers, to-do lists, all of that kind of stuff, then you might think about creating the title and using a little emoji in the front of it. Okay. Or let's say you sell on Etsy. You might have like a little shopping cart in front of the name of your file. So when you're looking at those things, you can quickly tell, oh yeah, this is one of the assets that I sell. Okay. This is just an idea. You could come in here and swap out whatever the little emojis are. But again, the key is document, make the decision, and then use this for a while and see how it works for you. And then there's a third tab down here, and it is just called your brand template. Now, what I like about this is, again, if you have a team or if you have somebody that creates social media for you or whatever it is, this is a super simple way of just having some of your brand assets on one page, what font you use and your brand colors, and you could share this with them. The other thing is if you do create Google Sheets, it's such a pain when you create a new sheet and then, you go and you click and, like if I wanted to fill this cell with a color and then my brand color is not there. Well, quick little tip for you. You can copy this sheet. So every time you're getting ready to create a new Google Sheet, come down here, do a right click on this little tab and come up to where it says copy to a new spreadsheet. So this whole page will go to a new spreadsheet. Then you can just click the little plus sign at the bottom and start working. But the beautiful thing is once you do that, guess what? All of your brand colors are there. You don't have to keep re-adding them. So I love that. And if you use this little pattern here, you can also inside, how it has like theme palettes. So you could create your own theme palette. So if you're using the spreadsheet, like the charting capabilities and all of that, you could add these colors to that palette, and then you're good to go. All right. So let me come back here and hide this so I can see you eyeball to eyeball. So though, oh, I was going to show you one more thing. So those are the three things, but let me show you this last thing here. This is what I call my second brain, basically. I'll shrink it down here. This is just a Google sheet, but what I've done is I have separate categories. So I've got my Digital Business Academy membership, my DBA prep membership, some main Google links that I use, some of my main calendar links, all of that kind of stuff. And all of these are hyperlinked. So whenever I want to get to those, and this isn't everything in my business, right? But it is those things that I'm using over and over and over again. And I pinned this up to my little menu bar. So guess what? Let me come back here. Guess what? That is my second brain. I just go there, click, click, and I'm good to go. Don't have to search for anything. I sell that one. If you wanted a copy of that, I do sell that on Etsy. I'll put the link down below. Or if you're part of my membership, my Digital Business Academy, it's one of the goodies that I give my members. Okay, so again, to quickly recap, how do you organize your business? I want you to think like a big corporation. In other words, create major departments, make the decisions, use that little spreadsheet, and figure out what are the subcategories. Try to mirror your desktop computer as closely as you can so that you're not overthinking, you're not having to make decisions all the time. Where do I put it? What do I name it? All of that kind of stuff. Think about adding some emojis, categorize with little emojis, makes it fun, and it also helps you remember where things are. Okay, so I hope that helps. And again, comment below if you'd like to get a copy of the little spreadsheet planner, and I'm happy to share it with you. If you're catching this on my YouTube channel, hey, I would love it if you gave me a comment, gave me a thumbs up, and hit the subscribe. In my next video, or stay tuned, I'm just going to talk about some quick little organizational system hacks, so to speak, of how you can organize your bookmarks and things like that. That's going to help you a lot. All right, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.